Statistics. Histograms. Histograms are commonly used to present tabular data in graphical or visual form. They use rectangular shapes to represent the values involved. The values are represented by the area they occupy and not by the height or the width they represent. So let's take an example. Construct a histogram to represent the arrival times of cars at a car park shown in the following table. So here are our time slots. From 9 to 10:30 in the morning, 3 cars arrived. Between 10:30 and 11, 50 cars arrived. 11 to 12, another 20 cars. 12 to 1, another 10. And between 1 and 3 in the afternoon, 8 cars arrived. We're going to begin by establishing the duration of the smallest or the shortest time slot. We're going to adopt this as the standard. So if we look at the time slots from observation, the 10:30 to 11 slot is 30 minutes. This is an hour and a half. 11 to 12 is 1 hour. So by observation, this appears to be the shortest, the 30 minutes. That's 1 hour and that's 2 hours. So we're going to assume that that's the shortest time period and we're going to use that as our standard. So we're going to call that one standard time slot for the half hour. If we do that and we work towards the other ones then, 9 to 10:30 is an hour and a half, and that constitutes 3 standard time slots. Similarly, 11 to 12, that's 2 half hours or 2 time slots. 12 to 1, another 2 time slots. And 1 to 3, 4 time slots. And this allows us now to complete the table. We've got all our cars arriving, the time slots, and the number of standard time slots involved. We're now going to use the information to establish the number of cars arriving per standard time slot. For example, between 9 and 10:30, 3 cars arrived. Now, as there are 3 standard time slots between 9 and 10:30, that equates with 1 arrival per standard time slot during those times. So if we look at it in tabular form, we're saying that between 9 and 10:30, 3 cars arrived, and there were 3 standard time slots. So 3 half hours and 3 cars arrived. So in effect we had 1 car per half hour. Between 10:30 and 11 we had only 1 time slot and 50 cars arrived. So that was 50 cars within the 1 standard time slot. Between 11 and 12, 20 cars arrived, but there are 2 standard time slots. So 20 divided by 2 is 10 per half hour. And similarly, from 12 to 1, 10 cars arrived in the 2 half hours, or 5 per half hour. And between 1 and 3, that's 2 hours, or 4 standard slots. 8 divided by the number of slots, 4, gives us 2. So we now have the table done. We've got the number of cars arriving per standard slot, the number of cars arriving, and the number of slots. So in each case, this 20 divided by 2 gives us 10, 10 divided by 2 gives us 5, etc. The histogram can now be constructed completely from the above data. The horizontal axis is used to represent the time slots from the earliest to the latest, so from 9:30 all the way until 3 o'clock. And the vertical axis is used to represent the frequency related data, recording the number of cars arriving during the different time slots. So if we look at it before we put in the data, here are the arrival times. We're starting at 9:30 and continuing all the way till 3 o'clock. And the numbers of cars arriving we're now going to fill in. For each recorded time slot, the number of cars arriving is presented on the basis of the number of cars arriving per standard time slot. This is important. So, for example, between 9 and 10:30, we had 1 car per half hour. 10:30 and 11, 50 cars per half hour, and 11 to 12, 10 cars per half hour, and so on. So if we draw that there, we have 1 car per half hour, just 1 between 9 and 10:30, then 50 between 10:30 and 11, 10 cars per half hour between 11 and 12, and so on. For example, the 10 cars which arrived between 12 and 13 or 12 and 1 represent an arrival rate of 5 per standard time slot. So for example, 5 cars between 12 and half 12, or so we gather, and 5 between half 12 and 1. We know there's a total of 10, but it's the area we're interested in. So 5 on average by each of the 2 slots. 5 by 2 gives us the 10.